how we actually got introduced to the whole anime, manga, Japanese culture thing. For me, it was maybe around 2001, 2002. Well, of course it was earlier, like Dragon Ball, Hello Kitty, Sailor Moon, all that kind of stuff on TLC or whatever. But it didn't really start to get into it until my cousin lived with us, and he would religiously run home from school and watch Dragon Ball at night. And then he got me into that, and then playing Jet Set Radio Future and all that kind of stuff.
Let's go.
Did you guys go to the photo shoot yesterday? Of course not. You're not.
Let me bring my combo.
There you go.
I got pictures.
Yeah, but then in high school, two of my best friends were all secretly into anime. We didn't actually approach each other until like 2003, and after the con, it's like, oh, we could have all gone to Anime North. No, that was 2002, because 2003 we did go. So I've been here for like 12 years. Yeah.
I got into anime when I was 6, and I started off with the stars, Pokemon, Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z. I didn't really count Hello Kitty because, I don't know.
Nobody really counts Hello Kitty,
Yeah.
but they don't realize that Hello Kitty, Keroppi, all that kind of stuff, Peckle.
Was that an anime?
It is.
It was back in the day.
I thought it's just the mass-produced.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
On TLC, before TLC started showing those really cheesy reality shows, they actually had educational programming.
Wait,
In the
I thought it
morning.
was the ladies' channel. It's the learning channel.
The Learning Channel. Now it's the Ladies Channel, but yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so yes, the dress on Friday, so.
Next few months.
No, just the next educational.
But yeah, I got into anime at a young age. I didn't know about Anime North until I heard about it the first year it came out, but I didn't have money to go until I was 14. So yeah.
Okay, I got started in anime after some of my online friends started talking about Bleach. It was 3 girls and they go crazy about Bleach. And all the rest of us in the online community would make fun of them behind their backs. And they knew.
What's wrong with Bleach?
They knew. We were all in it, we were all friends. We were all very close friends. Tight-knit groups. They all knew. It's like, oh, you guys talking about Bleach again. Oh my gosh. And then I was like, yeah, no, but Bleach is awesome. And then the other one goes, ooh, Bleach is awesome. So we're like, oh my gosh. And then one day I was flipping channels and Bleach was actually on TV. And then I was like, oh, that's that show my 3 friends talk about. I'm going to just watch an episode and make fun of them for it, right? Because it's all show. Right? And then I started watching it and then I liked it. And yeah, that's how I got really started as an anime fan. When I was younger, I was exposed to like Sailor Moon and Card Captors.
Card Captors!
And yeah, like the dub version where they like cut out half the Sakura. And that's how I got into anime hardcore with Bleach. And yeah, and now I'm a staff of AnimeCon, and they said I'd never be a staffer of a con. But anyway.
I got introduced, I can't even remember, I was watching television one night, and it was during Christmas, and they showed 3 films. They were all Patlabor 1 and 2, and the Wings of Honeys. I'm like, this is really interesting stuff. Looked more into it. Obviously, my friends at school were watching Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, and Card Captors, so that's pretty much what I started. I guess the end of the middle series where I kind of got started with anime, and then but I'm more of a gamer, so I play mostly anime-related games.
Thank you. So for me, it kind of all just started, I don't know how old I was, but I got my first television in my room and it was all downhill from there. I started off with Inuyasha. I would stay up, yeah. I was like a child staying up till like 11 o'clock at night just to be like, Inuyasha! I didn't even know that it was anime because I thought, oh, like that's in Japanese, but no. So I was like, wait, anime, what is that? I looked it up. It's over.
It's a whole new world.
Yeah. It had me from there. So then like Tokyo Mew Mew, all of the like moe trash that I still love. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
We're all secretly bleep trash here. We might not look it. So yeah, you wanted to talk about.
Oh well, let's do the coming out party stuff. Or are we going to do that?
Oh yeah, like.
Okay, I'll start with my coming out story, which isn't really that interesting because my parents were just kind of like, anyway, I got started with anime and I was already going to cons at this point. I went to Sci-Fi Con So my dad didn't really think it was weird because it's like, oh, I already go to Sci-Fi Con, so it's not much stranger. But then I started wearing kimono and they were like, okay. And yeah, and they're like, well, she does what she wants, she's an adult. So yeah, my parents are pretty good with it. Other people, on the other hand, in the black community are kind of like, yeah, it's kind of strange. Or like, why do you like that anime stuff? But people were accepting of it, and my dad actually shares all my kimono pictures to his like relatives, and they spread them around the West Indies and stuff. So yeah, my dad's totally supportive. So yeah.
She was actually in the fashion show yesterday, and I have to-
I'm one of the fashion show directors.
she looks so good. Like,
They did think I looked good. Even the fashion guests were like Segure when they saw me. I look good. Check out the Anime North Fashion Show Tumblr. Okay.
it's just Anime North Fashion Show on Tumblr.
Tumblr,
Like, that's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
If anything, since I'm so frustrated that Fingers said that, yeah, get it in, you know, before 10. I got it in before 10. It didn't sync. I don't know what's going on. I worked so hard on it. But I'll post the PowerPoint up on the Facebook page, which is just BLK A&M fans. Also, all the links are there too.
And I'll share it on my personal Tumblr too. You should too, Fresh Titty Milk.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't really change my Tumblr name just because I've had it for so long. But it's just freshest dash titty milk on Tumblr. I know.
I love it. Every time I go on my dash, I see it, I'm just like, I love that.
I have
I love it too.
I have people who will see me at the con and then they'll shout it out and I'm just like. But yeah, my coming out story, I didn't really have one. It's more like my parents gave me and my sister a lot of freedom to just do what we want. Like, we never had a curfew. It's like, oh, if you're out before while the lights are on, call us, let us know where you're at. If you need a ride, that's fine. So when I got a little bit of money, I'd go to the comic shop at Square One, and the first manga I ever bought was Ranma 1/2, and this is back, the first printing, the bigger books, nice, thick, cost you like $35. At the time I didn't have a job, so $35 was like all the money in the world to me. So yeah, and I have basically in the first printing 1 through 21. That's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
So that was that, and then every so often my mom's like, what are these books, you know, are they worth anything? Are you gonna sell them? How much did you pay for them? Are you gonna sell them? You keep buying a lot of books. What is this thing you're going to? My father still called, like 12 years later, you're going to your Animania thing? Yes, father, yes, I'm going to Animania. Are you, and my father is a hysterical and slightly cynical Jamaican man, and in his later years he's gotten even more cynical, so I told him that I rented a car. He's like, huh, you can rent a hotel room, you can rent a car, look at you have money. If he knew how much I spent on the dresses, one of which never did come in, I think he would just lose his shit. As it is, I'm an adult.
I got a story on that. My parents are from St. Kitts and Nevis, and they never were after us about spending the money, but my sisters, they'd be like, oh, you spend all that money on the kimono. And then somebody, one of these sisters, had a job interview. And guess what? She had to buy a suit. And that suit cost $400. And then at the same time, one of my obies came in from Japan. I'm like, I open it, although she's showing me the suit, and I'm like, this obi, $5. $400 suit. Never complained about my spending money on kimono ever again.
I hope she wore that suit about 500 times.
I went to the interview, and people, when she was waiting, because she was waiting for a ride, people would like drive up and be like, hey, you need a ride when it was raining, and stuff like just in that suit, so it's like the magic power suit. She got the job.
Nice.
So, but yeah, my $400 suit, I was so shocked I hung up on her. Yeah, I never have spent that much money on kimono ever. So I was like, $5 obi. And never again have they complained about my cost of my kimono stuff, ever since then. So, and my dad is always cool, just as long as I look good. So.
My coming out story is kind of a birthing story because my dad was a huge Dragon Ball nut. So whenever I went to his place on the weekend, he would sit down with me like every single night when we had the time and watch an episode of Dragon Ball, and which eventually turned to Dragon Ball Z. And all was lost after that. I don't even remember what happened after that. I never missed an episode of Dragon Ball Z after that. But don't tribute me. I don't remember much. Okay, just don't ask me. My mom was more like, she just thought it was another form of cartoon. She didn't think much of it until later on when I got more into my weeaboo trash phase. And then she realized, oh, this is not just something that's cartoons, this is something deeper.
It's cartoons with big eyes.
Like, my coming out was more game related. After watching some of the anime that's on TV, I was like, I need to play these games. I was one of those guys who could torrent, or not torrent, download games legally. But we had crappy 56K dial-up, so I would have to go to her workplace and bring floppy disks. And I downloaded the entire Dragon Ball Z SNES library on floppy disks. But then when more games come out, I'm like, can you download this game for me? Put on a disc. She's like, what is this crap? What is this Macross? Just bring it home, okay? It was more like that, and then I mean they didn't really think much of it. But when I started watching like straight from Japan anime with my door closed, I'm like, what language is that? What is this stuff you're watching on your cartoons? Even now, just so like, are you watching that shit again? I'm like, yes. And it's different because I'm also in J fashion, so it's just kind of like. Imagine my mom coming into my room and just like, whose dresses are these? I'm like, wait, whose shoes are these?
I guess because he has big feet like me, so I could actually go over to his house and borrow shoes. And I'm like,
No. Now she kind of knows about the costs. I mean, I just dropped like
Because
300.
Lolita's expensive.
Yeah, I dropped like 3 something on like one dress alone. But then, you know, she's getting away with it. But she's like, oh, it's your anime con thing? I'm like, yes. She's like, I'm gonna drive by. I'm like, heads up in a truck.
I got one story about relatives coming to a con. My sister, my sisters have come to other cons because my older sister and I were both geeky, so we do sci-fi stuff and fantasy stuff together. So those cons they seem totally normal to my whole family coming to them. They'd never been to an anime con, and they came to see the fashion show once, and my younger sister was like, someone offered me cookies.
it wasn't me.
Someone was talking to their doll like a real person. She was like, Tanya. And she told all of our friends. So now all of them are terrified to come to an anime con. So please be careful with which con you invite relatives to come to. She was fine with the sci-fi conventions. She was fine with the Lord of the Rings convention. She's like, oh, I learned how to do chainmail. So the anime convention. And that was on a Sunday when there's hardly anybody either.
Wow.
Saturday.
Like,
So for me, my family did not care. They didn't care. They were just like, cool, bro, good job. But it was more so for me, like in middle school when I was peaking with my like emo phase, and I would sit in class in the back like drawing Naruto, like random anime girls off of Google, and my classmates would look back and be like, okay, whatever. It's just Cassandra, the smart one. I'd sit in the class and like read my books and stuff, and they'd just be like.
don't you love it when you're classified as being smart? You can actually get away with doing more things.
Yeah.
Like my teachers never questioned when I left or I came to class without a backpack because I'd leave it outside the door, and I'd offer to take down the attendance, and I'd take it down and never come back.
Wow.
I'm not encouraging that, not at all. Unless you're 18, and then you can find yourself out of school and then whatever.
I was literally that kid that would like buy a book, go to the library, take it out, sit in class reading my book, and when my teacher took it away, take out the second one.
Yeah, I know. All right. Well, okay, since I'm going to have to leave probably the next 10, 15 minutes, there was a subject I did want to talk about, and it was cosplayers of color. I don't know if everyone heard about the incident about it's a serious subject, about the Samurai Champloo cosplayer who was black and was killed by police.
No, we have to specify
Really?
this. Honestly,
Yeah.
he was mixed. His
He
mother
was
was
mixed.
white,
Yeah.
and his father was black.
He's
Uh,
still considered black though. in the States.
Honestly,
Yeah.
he wasn't white passing or anything.
He
Like
wasn't.
I know some people who are white passing. I have family members like that, but you can clearly tell the texture of his hair,
Yeah.
the shape of his lips and nose. Like he's black with a toy sword,
Yeah.
and they shot him in his back, right?
Yep. And they
What-
said there was no like misconstruing or anything. There's video of him running and then the police running after him. And they said they threatened him with a fake anime sword and yeah, he's dead.
But even then,
So, yeah,
threatening
so-
somebody with a toy sword, threatening somebody with a sword, unless they actually come up and show that they're being aggressive, that's no right.
And it's
Exactly.
a cosplay sword. It wasn't one of those swords they sell at like the dealers that are real metal or real
Yeah, you gotta-
like cardboard and you know
The kind you get from Dollarama.
Yeah.
You mean like the kind of like don't just bend over?
Yeah, plastic sword.
Yeah.
Like,
So
Why
yeah. So I
shoot
just
him?
thought it was.
At least give him like a warning shot or something. Like,
Tackle him on the ground.
exactly.
listen, being black in North America is hard. Being black in America is harder. Being black in the South,
Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh, it's hell.
just pray for your
Hell.
brothers and sisters. It's not even a laugh. Honestly, it's not even a laughing matter. I'm
Yeah.
dead ass serious.
No,
Like,
The city
gotta be
it happened in, I think, is like 95% white, and the police officers did an investigation. They said nothing was wrong and everyone followed procedure, but it's just one of those things as a cosplayer of color. It's important to be, you know, more aware and stuff like that, right? And we need to keep up with these stories because cosplayers just look out for each other, right? I know online on the Anime North Facebook group, someone actually did ask, why is there a panel like this? And then I just posted a link to the story, and then a lot of people were like, oh, that's why.
Yeah,
I remember
Because
the.
we don't live in a kumbaya world where racism is over.
exactly.
No, and people need to acknowledge it. It affects fandom. It affects every aspect of life, right? So we need to look at it in fandom. I've been very lucky, and I don't cosplay because I can't sew, but I've been very lucky with the kimono fashion. I've never, ever had issue or complaint about me wearing kimono. Even when some, you know, I wouldn't call them, you know, some of those people, cultural appropriation people, just kind of don't understand the difference between cultural sharing and cultural appropriation.
Blackface.
Even, but even though some people think if you're not Japanese, you shouldn't wear kimono, but that's a very small minority and they're only in North America, because Japanese people are like, thank God you're wearing kimono. Like that, they're like, oh my God, thank you so much, it's so wonderful to see people in kimono. Like I said, like the fashion guests from Japan were all extremely surprised and happy and they loved how I looked, right? And they're Japanese, right? And that's how most Japanese people react when you wear kimono properly.
Isn't
Yeah,
kimono
and
kind of like a dying fashion in Japan?
It's not dying, it's coming, there's a resurgence. It was dying in the 70s, but there's more and more people wearing kimono every day. And please come to Crash Course in Kimono at 12 o'clock. Because there's a dressing demonstration. Because everybody, there's so many people in Japan who want everybody everywhere to wear kimono. Even the like 2 or 3 people who are North Americans who are like, if you're not Japanese, don't wear kimono. Even they're like, what about black people? Someone asked about black people kimono, and they're like, kind of like, they're kind of like,
Turning that.
yeah, it's got to be shit for black people. Yeah, because they're oppressed. Yeah, just kind of all mishmash on this. But anyone can wear kimono, and if you're knowledgeable enough, you can teach kimono. There's a white lady who lives in Japan and has a PhD in Japanese clothing, and she teaches. She's a certified kimono teacher in Japan. So it doesn't matter what color you are, as long as you love the culture, they'll be good with you. Yeah.
Well, it's one thing
Yeah.
to love, but you
Yeah.
gotta remember respect. You
Yeah, and
gotta
respect.
the
That's the
culture.
thing. They love when you respect. And like one of my friends who runs a kimono rental service, when she went to Japan, and she's a whole bunch of grandmas were like, "You need to learn how kimono will teach you." And they took her in and taught her everything. That's what she learned. She didn't have to pay for official lessons. It's just grandmas because they just want you to wear kimono. That's what they want. So yeah. So anyway, you guys can talk about your experience as like a black either cosplayer and that sort of stuff, as a person of color in cosplay, or J fashion like you do all this stuff. I'm sure it must be very interesting for you.
I don't really have much to go with because I felt that, like I knew that, you know, my friends that were into it, like even just going back to like my emo phase, you know, all like with the really terrible hair and like the bad colors and stuff and the freaking the fringes, horrible. But like I'm mixed and my mom raised me and she's white, so like I didn't know how to do my own hair until like 4 years ago. So when that was happening and like I wanted that terrible hair, I just knew like I couldn't do it. So that's kind of when I came into myself, and I didn't really get into it until like more recently. So I don't really have much to offer there because I was sad. I couldn't be a lame geek to my fullest heart's
But now you
content.
can.
Yes, it's
Now you
mine
can.
now.
Embrace your weeb trashness. Like, I feel like we kind of all went through that phase of emotional self-discovery. I know we call it emo, but emo is short for emotional. And this being North America, we all kind of go with what's the defaulted norm as white a lot of times. And so, of course, we're going to do, well, for me, at the time, it was the Raver jeans that are like, well, 3 yards wide. And the plaid shirts.
I actually wore that?
Yeah, I'm old. Don't let the dress fool you. I'm old. But like, also like, I was going through this phase where my mom permed my hair for many, many years, and I hated it. Like it felt good to put on, but I hated taking it out and the maintenance. I just did not like it. And one day I actually cried and I grabbed my hair and I cut like, if my hair's curly like hers, and about this long when I straighten it. I literally grabbed my hair and I just started cutting it all off one day. And it took about 5 years, grew back to all its splendor. But I realized cutting it off, it's almost like a light bulb went off. It's like, I don't have to be like them. I can be me. I actually have curly hair, and I love my curly, I've always wanted curly hair. And then I realized I started going natural before the whole wave started. I'm like, there's nothing out there for me, so I have to find everything myself. And while I'm finding everything for myself, I found myself, and I realized there are other people out there like me. When I first came here in 2003, there was literally like maybe 6 black people. Me, my best friend, and a couple of other strangers that probably walked into the Regal Constellation by accident.
So, the Regal Constellation, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that honestly,
that hotel
great
doesn't
hotel.
exist anymore because it fell apart. Yeah, it
It
fell
was,
apart.
it was a really great location.
Was there a white hotel?
Yeah, and it actually said
I
Regal on
remember
it.
when they before. They
I
took it
stayed
down.
in the last year where it was still kind of habitable and it wasn't good. Because the building just kind of wasn't working. Like, it was so dear. Like,
Parts of the building were just abandoned.
yeah, there was parts that were abandoned and stuff. Yeah, just.
Great if you wanted to do like a creepy photo shoot, I guess. You know, like, we as a community of like multicultural black people, we've come a long way. And community is so important, no matter what, because we support each other and we embrace each other's weirdness. I say weeb trash, and I say it ironically, though some people are unironically weeb trash and it's kind of sad, but it's okay to be weeb trash. It really is, as long as you understand that there's limits and boundaries. You don't want to be that person who's just way over the top, because honestly you're alienating other people, and we don't want that. We want to bring everybody in and make them feel comfortable, because we understand being a minority in this very white-centric world, it's already hard enough on us. And just be wearing a Hawaiian shirt, or wearing a mask on your head, or wearing bunny ears, or dressed like this, or dressed like that, or with dreads even, people are going to look at you. So it's like, might as well stop being a microaggression in the community and just embrace each other and be like, anime. Anime.
And I should say that with, as someone with natural hair and J fashion, I find at least the kimono community, they don't think it's, even though like it's mostly like white people and Japanese people, because I do talk openly about having natural hair and stuff like that, they're all very supportive and like come up with nice hairstyles for me, and like some even have like
It was so
one of,
pretty
yesterday because it was a natural updo hairstyle, and like one of the other kimono people who's a white lady helped me with my hair to get it done right, because I tried it myself but I don't know how to use bobby pins. And she helped me get it done right, and yeah, like they're very supportive, and everyone's like, oh, wait till your hair gets long enough for you to try me on your hair. So that's one of the more traditional Japanese hairstyles, because they want to try it on natural hair to see how it would do, because maybe they don't need there's like these rat tail things to put to puff out. And they're like, maybe we don't need to do that. And they're like, natural hair would be so good for Lolita and stuff like that, because doing all kinds of cute hairstyles. So a lot of the communities, when you talk openly about it and people learn about some of the, not difficulties, but the differences and how things can be treated differently, and they read up and get educated, they are actually very, very supportive, because I think, no, I'm not the only black person. There's several other black people in the Toronto Kimono Club, and I think almost all of us have natural hair. Straightening your hair is fine too, by the way. I'm not saying that. But
Ain't nobody telling you to do anything you
Yeah.
don't want to do.
Yeah,
Except be cool.
everyone in the club and just the international kimono community as a whole, they love it. They're like, it's totally great. They're not saying you should straighten your hair to make it look better or anything like that. No, not at all. Not in the slightest. So, and I know Lolita has some natural hair things, and even on the Anime North Tumblr, I do post some ideas for people who do natural hair and Lolita and stuff like that. And other hair stuff too, so people can incorporate that to their J fashion. You don't need to change your hair or change other aspects of yourself to fit any type of J fashion or costume.
I actually just wanted to touch on that because I feel like I went through that phase where when I was figuring out how my hair worked and I realized like, oh, my hair is great. I can do all the shit with it. Like, it's awesome. What's the documentary I watched?
Black hair.
Yeah, you know what? It was that hair with Chris Brown.
Chris
And I was like,
Chris Rock.
Chris Brown. You know where your mind You know where your mind is.
So yeah, I watched that, and I had relaxed my hair a few times, and like I just generally unhappy. But I realized that I kind of had this like mental hierarchy where I realized that like, oh, I think that all people that are straightening their hair is self-made. And no, this is what I use. Like, and I was much younger. I was still in my teen.
You do realize those thoughts were implanted by your head by older adults in the black community who have their own, self-hate and racial issues, and they're basically passing it down from generation to the next generation.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Ironically, by rebelling and starting a new trend, they don't like that for some reason.
Yeah.
But where was I with this? Yeah, I kind of, like I saw good hair and I was like, oh, it's so negative, like I have to change what I'm doing here, like I can have good hair and not have to be like white people, and that's where it started, where I kind of would look down like, oh, why do you have a weave? Like I had this one friend that came in grade 7 and she, like, her hair was like that, and like I pitied her because I was a douche, and I look back on that now and I was like, really? People should be able to have whatever hairstyle they want for whatever reasons they need to have at the time. If it's because they think their hair is ugly, then it's their business to work on it and feel better about themselves in the long run. If they just want to wear a fly-ass weave that's like 26 inches, then all the power to them. Like, you're killing it no matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
I will judge you if you kill it though, like literally. If your weave is 26 inches long and it looks like a rat's body in the back, I'm gonna judge you. I'm gonna judge you. It's not fair. It's not right. You paid good money for that. Why are you treating it like the ugly redheaded stepchild? Don't do that. Love yourself. Even if you buy your hair, love it. Take care of it.
Just seems like the kimono community is a lot nicer with natural hair.
Oh, I did, because I thought people in the Lolita community was
honey,
no.
It depends.
Oh, because
It depends.
if you see pictures in the fashion show, like we have at least 2 black people, one of them has locks, all her kids are in, but not in the fashion show. But yeah, and everyone's all great with natural hair. Everyone's like,
Wore my natural hair 3 times in Lolita.
in Lolita.
And Lolita, and literally because every time I go record it with my natural hair, you usually hate me like it. Because the dreads aren't Lolita. It's like,
He used to have really nice long dreads that came down to here, and so you could do nice styles with them.
I love that last year.
Yes, I
Yeah,
styled
saw
them.
that.
I
That was
styled
great. You
them,
were in
and
the fashion show last year.
yeah, that was also an oldie, but
Yeah, you're an OG, but you look